What's going on, YouTube family? T.O. here, Simplistic Fishing, back at you tonight. This time we are going on a journey. That's right, we're going on a journey all the way up to Spring Lake, Michigan. You're like, what the heck? Why are you going to Spring Lake, Michigan? Well, I'm not actually going to go there. We're going to use Google Earth to take a virtual tour up there because one of our winners from last week won an SD card, and he's from Michigan, and he asked me to break down his home lake for him. This one's pretty cool, about 1,250 acres or so, has pike, perch, smallmouth, largemouth, and lots of hydrilla. At least that's what it looks like from Google Earth. So stick around. We're going to make the trip up there, 771 miles away from the homestead here. Let's see what we can find. Here we go. Well, here we go, guys. We are going way far north. You can see my little bitty house down here in Texas, and we're going to go all the way up here, up by the Great Lakes to Spring Lake, Michigan. This is a little township, only 2,323 citizens, but actually looks like it's starting to become a lot more populated. There's a little lake there called Spring Lake. It's 1,250 acres. You can see here I've already got the dates drawn back to 4 April 2011 to get the water drawn down pretty good so we can see what was going on with this lake. But really cool looking lake. Definitely a lot of changes between 2011 and 22. So I'll have to do a couple switches and things like that when we're looking at the dates. But overall, man, this looks like a really cool lake to go fish. And again, congratulations to Mr. Barron for winning the SD card. And again, thank you for putting me on this lake and giving me the opportunity to break it down for you. So let's go ahead and talk about this. On the left-hand side, what we always do on our lake breakdowns, if you're not familiar, of course, if you're from Michigan, you've probably never seen any of our Texas videos. We've broken down about 45 different lakes in Texas. We continue to do those pretty much weekly. Continue to add 1 or 2 lakes each week, and we'll continue to move forward with that. So if you have some lakes up here in Michigan that you'd like for me to break down, don't send me the Great Lakes. I'm not going to do anything like that, but some of these smaller lakes, be happy to break them down for you, put them out on our site, simplisticfishing.com, and let you guys go ahead and purchase those and hopefully put them to use. So let's go ahead and talk about what we have here. Over on the left-hand side, we've got our offshore hot spots. So this is basically going to be, which we'll have a follow-up video to it, but these are all the spots that I've marked as offshore hotspots for this lake, for Spring Lake. So if I come here and I click on that, you're going to see all the different offshore hotspots that I have out there. So these are based on what I could see on contour maps. Of course, so you're probably looking at this, you're thinking, how does he know those are offshore hotspots? I actually went out to the contour map, marked these, and then I brought them in to Google Earth so we could take a look at them. Next thing would be ramps. So all the boat ramps that are out here, I've went ahead and marked those for you. You can see them here with the parking sign. Different types of rock formations. This could be rocks up against the seawalls. This could just be rocks around the points. Could be rock piles. Just basically any type of rock formations or rocky areas that I thought would be really high percentage areas for you. I went ahead and marked those. Also channels and ditches. Now this is really big because when we were talking about channels and ditches, you know, especially here in Texas, if you can get in the creek channel, you've automatically increased your odds of catching fish, especially this time of year towards the winter time. So what I've done is I've gone back and I've marked all the creek channels and all the ditches that are back here. So you can see all these creek channels that are back here. And right here, you're like, how did you know those creek channels were there? When we move it back to 2011 to go through the video, you're going to see a totally different image of what this thing looks like. And then last but not least, just different types of cover, whether it be just a regular point, could be a pinch point that I wanted to point out to you, different laydowns, debris. And then I just have some random things that just says check. I can't tell what it is, but it looks like some type of debris, whether it be a laydown, a rock, maybe just some kind of man-made debris. I couldn't tell what it was, but I've got a couple checks out there. And then I've got one spot which looked like it was pretty good little brush parrot pile that was in that area. So let's go ahead and jump into this thing. As far as this lake goes, I think I explained it. 1,250 acres. It has pike, perch, smallmouth, and largemouth as far as the predominant species in the lake. So it looks like it'd be a ton of fun. And again, it's right there by the Great Lakes. So it'd be really cool to be able to fish this lake and then to be able to kind of take the trip out to the main lake. Not sure if I'd want to do that in my boat, but it'd still be a cool little trip to do regardless. So let's go ahead and start here. I'm going to move this over so we can get a whole screen here. And I'm going to zoom in, and we're going to start right here at the bridge. So when you're right here at the bridge, you're in the middle of the causeway here, there is rock on both sides. So you have some rock over here. You also have some rock on this side. And then you have some rock that's right over here off this point. So right here, we're looking at the image from January 8th of 2022. I'm going to take this all the way back to either May or April of 2011. And that is going to give us the image that we're going to want to look for when the water was drawn down, pretty much the farthest that I could get it to go down. So kind of what you guys saw in the entry. So let me go ahead and get this back here. That's 3 and that's 5. So let's stay with 5. 5 looks pretty good. So you can see here when I did that, the lake started to come down a little bit, and now that rock and everything that I pointed out to you guys is very obvious. So you can see here pretty good rock piles here and there. So let's go ahead and keep moving on. We're going to stay on this side, and we're going to stay on the east side and work our way all the way up the east side and the north side, and then we'll come back down the west side. So as we get out here, there's a lot of rock right along this seawall. Now, I don't want to keep moving this back and forth because I'll make you guys dizzy, but trust me, there's a lot more rock there now than what we're seeing in the video here. There's also more rock right in here. This is all really good riprap along this bank line. And then there's some pretty good rock right in this area that's a lot more predominant than it is in this image. So again, you're just gonna have to trust me because I'm gonna make myself dizzy if I keep moving back and forth between the dates. And this one's so specific that I have to go to just May to be able to get the image that I'm looking for. So good news for you though is I did that the entire time I was breaking it down. So I'd look at it from 2013 or 2011, and then I'd pull it all the way up to 2022 and make sure that that still existed. So these should be some really good points for you guys. So let's keep moving on down. I didn't see too much going on this bank line, just some seawalls and things like that you could fish. But when you get over here, there's some pretty good little rocky points that come out. There's 2 of them. There's one right here and one right here. And I think this could be a swim area, so you might not be able to fish around there. But if it's not a swim area, those could be some really good points to be fishing off of. Also, as we come over in here, there was just this little spot in here I wanted you guys to check. It almost looked like someone had made like a little rock pile. This could be something from an old dock or something like that, but check right in there and see what that is. There's not a lot in that area. You kind of just got that sandy bank line, so that could have some potential right in that area. As I move a little bit further up here, kind of the same thing, another little rock pile that was out here. Not sure what that is, if that was maybe somebody had a pier that walked all the way out there and it's not there anymore. I'm not sure, but definitely check there. Even if there is a pier there now, that rock is still going to be there for you guys. And then coming off this point, you just got rock along this bank line. Very shallow, it's going to be those square bills and things like that when they're up really tight to the bank line, but definitely some good areas to take a look at. Now, as I scoot a little bit farther back, show you guys where I'm at. I came up this little arm here. We're going to get up here around this road, and that's when we started to find a little bit more stuff. We definitely got a lot of riprap over here. So you've got all this riprap around these little condos or duplexes, whatever they are. You've also got some more rock right around this area too. Some additional rock that was back in here. You can see just a little pile that's there. And then of course you got this rock that's around the bridge. And then you've got a ramp that's over here too. And of course you got a really nice golf course that's there. Now, as we move back in here, we start to get into some more interesting stuff. Now, again, this looks totally different in 2022. So you're not going to see this, but there's a ditch that's right here. And I went ahead and marked it for you guys right in this area. And for this example, let's go ahead and do it. Let's move this back up to, let's say, 2025 or 2019 to show you guys what this would look like. So here we are, 1/31 of 2019. I'm not sure if this would be January of 2019. I think their dates are off, but you can tell you wouldn't know that ditch was there, but that ditch is there, and it's probably going to be a pretty good ditch to be fishing around because there's not too much of that in that area, right? That's the first ditch that you come across. So definitely take a look at that one. I think that's going to be a good spot for you. And then I'm going to move this back here to 2011. You guys are going to have to hang on with me as I move this back. And I'm sure there's a simpler way to do it, but I don't know how. So we're going to keep doing it this way. So here's our ditch, and let's keep moving up. As we move up further over here, didn't see too much. I can't really tell what that is off that tip of that little point there. It almost looked like snow, but I can't tell if it's snow or just sandy or what it is. I don't think it's rock, so I didn't mark it for you guys. But as we get back in here, there's a couple different creek channels that come in here that make little ditches. So here's a little creek coming through here, and the ditch is right here. Now, again, if I pull the water up, the water's going to be up here. So that ditch is going to be in some pretty decent depth. Got a little bit of debris here that might still be in the water, and then another little ditch that was on this side that was kind of hidden over there. Then as you move up here, you've got more debris. It's back in this little pocket. Again, this is going to look totally different in 2022. So Mr. Barron, trust me on this one. This is what it looks like underneath the water. It's definitely going to look totally different to you when you're looking at it just with the naked eye, just because the water levels are going to be so different. Also right in here, you've got a little personal boat ramp. And you guys may not have heard me talk about this before, but boat ramps are awesome, especially during certain times of year. The perch like to get up there and mess around the boat ramps. The bass love it. The crawdads love it. It's just a really good area to go and find fish. So if you're having a rough day, sometimes the best pattern is just to bail out and go fish a bunch of boat ramps. All right, so let's keep moving on up. We've got some rocks along this bank line too. And again, if the water's up, you're not even going to know these rocks are here. So there's rocks here and there's rocks along here as well. And then moving up here, I didn't see too much going on here, kind of just shallow. Not too much going on until you got back in here. You got a pretty good little creek channel that comes back up through here. You can see it here. And again, you're like, well, that's pretty obvious, but it's not obvious because if I move it to 2014, that creek channel is not nearly as obvious. And in fact, out here, you got a pretty good channel out here in a little bit deeper water that you could be fishing around. So anywhere right in that area is going to be really, really good. So let's go ahead and move this back to right in here, get it where I want it. What the heck I've done now? 3, 5, there we go. Now we're back where we want to go. So keep moving on down. See, I really want to show you guys that because it's such a difference, but it's such a pain to switch them back and forth. So I'm going to keep moving on down here. Might have a little pond here. It was hard to tell. This looks like it doesn't get submerged, so probably not an area you could fish, but if it ever did get submerged, it'd be interesting to get up in there and fish around there. Now, you've got a little ditch that coming through here too. It's another one of those little creek channels that comes through here. It doesn't actually touch the cove. It goes beside the cove, and then it comes all the way down through here. And this is really just a huge like hydrilla flat or something. I can't really tell, but definitely a lot of cover and stuff in there. But fish around that ditch. Stay focused on that ditch. Stay focused on that creek channel, whatever you want to call it. I think that's going to give you a lot more opportunities to catch fish up in that area. All right, so I'm going to keep moving down. Again, some more rock around the bridges. I focus on this side, but you've got some more rock over there as well. And then moving around this point, some of these homes have been completely redone, so they look completely different in 2022, starting to get some pretty fancy houses all along the shoreline here. But we've got some really good riprap that was put in right around in this area. So definitely check that. And it pretty much goes from here all the way up. If you follow those rocks, it goes up here, it swings around this thing, and it ends about right there. So definitely check that out. Again, that's going to be your shallow diving crankbaits, your square bills, stuff like that, your rattle traps, and you can get those shaky heads and stuff like that up there as well. So as you move around the point, you got your rocks there, kind of lose the riprap for a while until you get right up in here. And then right up in here, this is actually a lot more rock than it looks like. So you've got basically rock along this whole seawall, starts here and goes all the way back behind these docks through here. And I believe it ends like somewhere in here, but I think some of this is going to be new as well. So it's going to look a little bit different. And then, yep, that was it. That's where the rock ends right there. And then we're going to move up a little bit further to this point. Let me back out and show you guys where I'm at. So we've gone up this little finger. Now we're going to go up this arm, and we're right in here, right off of that point. So if we come right off of that point, there's some pretty good riprap. You can see it starts right here. And it's all right along in that area. So definitely check that out. It's going to be pretty shallow up in there, but depending on the time of year, that could be a good spot to look. You've also got some more rock that's up in here. So again, just riprap, man-made riprap putting around these points, but that makes it a really good spot to be able to go look for fish for sure. And then moving up here, didn't see too much around any of these points until I got back up in here. There's a creek that runs through here. You can see it. I was hoping I could mark it for you guys even way back in here, but this road stops. It doesn't look like you can get underneath it, but there's a really good creek channel going back in here that you could get back up in the springtime and probably have some really good success. Stay in the channel and fish around the edges. You're going to have a lot more success that way. All right, so then moving up here, finally get into our first laydown. We got a little laydown that's right here. You can see it. And then we've got a lot of riprap all along this side as well. So you got riprap that starts right here, and it swings around and goes all around that point. Now, when you come further out here, This dock in 2022, you see where I say debris. If I move that up to 2022, this dock has been destroyed. So there's really nothing there. There's some pillars and stuff like that. Those are good spots to go take a look at. So go look in there and see if you can find anything hanging around those pillars. You've also got some pretty decent depth that's right on the outside of that dock. You've also got some more rock over here, right around this point. And then over here, you've got, again, just more rock pretty much all around. Let me back this out and I'll show you guys. It starts up here, and pretty much you could fish that whole bank line all the way down to there. So from that rock spot, hit all these, and that's pretty much going to keep you on some pretty shallow rock along the bank line. As we move further up here, we get to this point. I'll back out a little bit further, show you guys where I'm at, right in here. So move over here and get to this point, just more rock again, right around, riprap, right around the shoreline here. And then there's a little boat ramp out here, kind of hidden. Definitely a personal boat ramp, but you want to take a look at that one. That one looks pretty decent. All right, moving back in here, another one of those creek channels. Mark those for you guys. Again, if I pull that water up, a lot of this is going to be underwater, so you're not really going to know where that creek channel is. But focus on the creek channel, use those tracks to your advantage. And I think it's definitely really going to help you out a ton. Now, moving over here, we've got some rock that's kind of hidden out here. So the water is usually, up in here. This rock is a little bit further out. So make sure you pull off a little bit and check that out. We've also got some more rock off of this point. That point looks really, really good. Up in here, you've also got some more rock off this point too. That looks good as well. And then as we move over here, we've got another creek channel coming back here. You can see it. In May of 2011, it's really obvious, but in 2022, it's not obvious at all. So this is definitely going to help you guys out. You've also got a ramp back here. You've got some more rock off of this point that goes from that point to about right in that area. And then moving back, we've got a couple more things. We've got some more creek channels back here that I've marked for you guys. Some rock that's right over here off the edge of this little seawall. Those sometimes can be really like magical places. It's finding right on the corner of the seawall and then get a really good pile of rocks there, and they just pile up there, especially if the wind is in just the right direction. And then if we move over here, we got some more rock going on here. Some, again, shallow rock from there to there. Moving around the point and getting back in here, this is when we get into that big old hydrilla flat that was back here, and it looks like there's a major creek arm that comes back here. So let's just kind of point out what we see back here. We've got some rock here, got rock around the bridges. These are those little ditches I was telling you about. They're probably like little sub creek channels, but you can see I've marked them here. Now those are going to change throughout time, but mainly that's the main ditch that I can mark for you guys that I could really start to see it in 2022. So I kind of match the two of them together. You got another ditch that's over here too that you could focus on. And then the main creek arm is right here. And again, if you just want to fish around the creek arm and just fish on the edges, that's going to give you a lot of success. And then right here, when you get these big turns, you definitely want to fish around those. You got another little creek channel here, a little ditch going on. And then we go further back in here, just basically the same thing. There's a couple spots that I marked for you guys. I just wanted you to check out, maybe hone in on a little bit more when you're there, is right here. You definitely want to focus in on this area. It's got that nice little, I don't know if that's a willow tree or what that is, but a really good looking tree right in the area. So definitely look right in there. And then right up here where you've got some intersections going on, this little point here looks really interesting too. And then again, guys, I just marked it all for you guys. So when you're back there, you can see what's going on. There's a really deep spot right over here. If you come off this side and just peel off to the left, this is a really, really deep area. It could be interesting to fish right up along the edges of those things. You might have some really good success there. All right, so we're going to pull out of there from that bridge. We're going to keep moving our way over to the west side and back down south. Got another ramp here. This is a ramp now. This is all changed, and there's actually a ramp here. So you can definitely take a look at that one. That's going to be one of your newer ramps. At least it's not 10 years old or 11 years old now. We've got some more riprap around this bank line right here. Kind of goes all along here. You can see rock, rock, rock. So basically you can start right here and just work your way down just that section of bank line where that rock is. We've got another ramp in here. Got a laydown that's over here too. You can't really see it, but it's there. I promise you, there's a really good laydown right there. And then there's rock right in that area as well. Actually, that is the laydown that I had question mark. So there was a laydown there in the April one. I don't know if it'll let me go back to April. You can actually see it. I don't know if it's going to let me get back there and see it. The images kind of go to crap on me, but in the April one, I could see a laydown there, but almost looks like they removed the laydown. So go back there and look for the laydown and see if it's there. If it's not, you've still got some pretty good rock. And if you look where that rock's at, it's right on the edge of that seawall. So it looks pretty cool there. We've also got some really good rock that's out here. Some more rock along the seawall right in that area. Got a little brush pile or something going on right here. So definitely take a look at that. And then some more rock right there you can see. It's kind of hard to see in the image, but it looks like there's a little rock pile right in that spot. There's more rock along these bank lines. Now, I know you're saying there's no rock there. Trust me, there's rock there. If I move this up to 2022, they've put riprap all along this bank line. So definitely take a look at that and fish around it. And you've got more rock here along this bank line, and they extended it a little bit further out too, so you'll see more riprap in here. Again, a lot of these houses have been updated, and they've kind of changed the bank line by adding a lot of riprap. So you can see here more riprap, again, more riprap again. And then you got a little private ramp that was over here. It's kind of hidden, but there's a little private ramp that's here now. Actually, that one's not hidden. This looks totally different now. I remember this one. And there's a little private ramp that's right on the spot. And that whole backyard looks completely different than what it does now. In fact, let's go ahead and take a look at that. That one's worthy of looking at. So move it up to 2018, you can see what I'm talking about. So the house is 10 times the size that it was, and they've changed the whole outside. Looks really cool. Some really good rock out here. You can see the rock that I was talking about there. So really some pretty cool stuff, some drastic changes from 11 years ago for sure. So I'm going to take this back to May. We're going to keep going. That showed you guys that rock that was off that point. Show you guys where I'm at here. I'm making my way back down. I'm coming to the first point on my way back down. So we talked about the rock off that point. We've got more riprap here. We've got a lot of riprap right off here off this bank line right here. So definitely go in there and take a look at that. Then moving back in here, we've got some pretty good little creek channels. We got one that comes through here. So I marked that for you guys. There's a little bit of debris here as well, which there's not too much of that on this lake, but I did find a little debris right in here. And then over here, you got a little little creek channel or ditch. I couldn't tell what it was, but I marked it for you guys because it does make some pretty good lines in that hydrilla. So definitely go take a look at that. All right, then we're going to move out of here, move out of that little arm. We're going to move over here to the left, which is going to be right here. So make sure I don't lose you guys. I'm coming in right here. And we're going to move over here to the west side and see what we can find on that side. Now, right in here, it shows rock. Now, you don't see any rock here right now, but if I move it to 2022, they've updated this house and they've put riprap all along the side of this bank line right here. So really good spot to look at. Got more rock here. This rock actually comes a little bit further out into the water, which is a lot different than the other areas. So I would definitely take a look at that one, see what's going on there. Moving up here, we've just got a couple laydowns to take a look at. There's one right here beside this dock. You can barely see it, but you can see the branch coming this way and then a branch going that way. Then we're going to move further up. We've got a ramp back here and then a creek channel. When you get way back in here, we've got a creek channel or a ditch, whatever you want to call it. Looks like a creek channel, definitely a creek channel. Kind of winds through these trees. Now this gets real shallow up in here, but I marked it all the way back to where I could look, where it looked like you could have a boat. So go ahead and check that out. Stay around that creek channel, see what you can find there. That looks like a really good spot for them to get back up in and spawn. All right, so we're going to keep moving down. Next thing would be just rock around this bank line that's right in here. We're going to come around the point. Moving down through here, we've got some more rock that's over here on this bank line. Just some shallow rock, but they've added some more as well. So you'll notice there's a little more rock there than what it shows in this image. We've got some rock here as well that you can see. Starts about right there. It ends just past that dock. So it's just that one little bitty stretch. Then they've added more riprap around this point as well. So you definitely have some rock around this point now. And then you've got a creek channel that comes back here too. So you can see I've marked it. Work around this bend right in this area and really just work around that creek channel. Again, working on the edges of it. You're going to have a lot of success doing that, especially around that hydrilla. I love fishing hydrilla. All right, moving up here, got more rock around this point. Moving on down. Didn't see too much around these docks. Pretty much from that stretch until we got about right here, I didn't see anything. And then finally started to get into some more stuff and, find some things to actually fish around. So we got some more rock in here. This has all been cleared out now, and it's a new house. You got some more rock in that area. Again, lots of development on this lake for sure. As I move further down, come in here, all this stuff looked pretty good, but I just couldn't find anything to mark for you guys that, that I could say, hey, definitely go fish there. That looks like a good spot. But if you look here, they've added some riprap right along the edge of this point. So basically from right there to right there, and that could even be like an old boat ramp or something like that too. So check out that little point right in that area. Moving on down, get some more rock around these points. This one's wrapped around it. So you got riprap starting right here, comes around and swings this way. The thing that I thought was interesting here was right here by this dock, you got an extra little riprap little point that comes out. So I could see setting up out here and casting towards that point, having some success in that area. Let's keep moving on down. Weren't too many ramps on this lake, but here's another ramp right there. We've also got some more rock around that area. Not sure what that was. Looks like a main like commercial area or something like that, but you got some rock right there off the edge of it too. And then moving on up here, we've got some more riprap and rock just along the bank lines. You can see it starts right here and goes all the way, pretty much all the way down through that point if you wanted to fish it. I don't know how high the water comes up here, but definitely right in here looks like a pretty good spot. You can tell this is a very shallow area. Look how far these piers come off. So this is going to be really, really shallow up in here. And then when we get up here by this roadway, we finally get into some rock and some deeper water. So we've got a little bit of rock right there off the roadway there that you could take a look at. We're going to swing our way into this little pocket here, and then we're going to wrap up this video. And that's going to do it for Spring Lake. And then the next video, I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you guys the Navionics hot spots so we can cover those as well for Mr. Barron. So coming up here, we've got some more rock off of this seawall. I wanted you guys to check this out. When I move it up to 2022, I can still see that there's something there. This looks completely different in 2022, but that, whatever that is still there. So check it out, fish around it, see if you can find something hanging around there. Also up in here, we've got some more creek channels and some more ditches. So here we've got just a little ditch that I was able to pick up that's right there. This one's got a pretty good ditch that they kind of dug out. So it makes some pretty good little ledges and walls for you guys in the hydrilla for you guys to fish around. And then up here, you've got a really good creek channel that runs through here. And I don't know if this is an old pond or what, but this could be a deeper spot. So don't forget to come over here and check that out. At least check out this area, see what's going on here, see if this is a lot deeper than all this other area. It could be. If it is in the early springtime, if it gets really cold, they could pull right into this area. So this could be a good area to look at. Now you're going to say, hey, Tyler, I don't know why you marked this side over here. Clearly you can't get to it from a boat. You're right. But I went ahead and marked it because I thought, you know what, if there's a kayaker out there that maybe lives in one of these houses that can get back in here and get into this stuff, if it's deep enough, there's a really good creek channel. Actually, two of them. There's one right here, and then the one goes all the way up here that you could fish around. So if you're a kayak fisherman, I marked it for you. It's not going to do us any good in the bass boats, but hey, check it out. Figured it'd be worth a few seconds to mark it for you guys. So I'm going to keep moving on down. We already talked about those. We're going to keep moving down to the west side, back out here to the beginning. So we've got some more rock that's right here. You can see riprap right along the bank line. As we wrap around the main point, we get into a lot of sandy stuff. But right here, I want you to check this out. I don't know if it's going to be any good or not. This could just be glare from the water. It could be birds. I'm not sure what it is. So that's why I put check. But check this out because it looks like it could be like a random rock pile that's kind of formed its own little point out here. So go look at that one. That one would be money. If it is rocks, it's going to be really good because there's no other rocks around it. Earlier, I showed you guys that one spot where I called it a pinch. And you can see right here, this is what I'm talking about. So it creates a really good funnel right here in this area. So if you could fish right in that area, that's going to be a really good spot to take a look at, especially if this is a hydrilla and stuff like that you could fish around. And then moving back here, you've just got another lay down, and we have made our way back to the entryway where we started. So that covers us for Spring Lake, Michigan. I know you're like, Michigan again? Why are you in Michigan? Hey, this one's for you, Mr. Barron. Hopefully you can turn us on to some other really cool lakes. This one looks like a ton of fun. I would love to go up there, catch largemouth, smallmouth, and even mess around with the pike too, I guess. Might as well be fun and catch some larger fish. So hope this is helping you guys out. If you have other lakes you want me to check out, just send them my way. I'll go ahead and break them down for you. Don't forget to check out our site, simplisticfishing.com, to get all of your waypoints and your fishing needs. And until next time, hope you catch your PB. Take it easy.